What's up, guys? Warspite got her unique augment today, and you know what? It's actually not that bad. As of the making of this video, I don't have access to any English translations of the augment details, so I translated it to English myself from the Japanese version. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes. Pause it if you want to, but also you can just check the changes in game in the English version. It should be long up by the time you see this. Anyway, the augment isn't very complex. Just a bunch of damage buffs everywhere, and then an extra barrage that isn't super strong, but it does ensure that her old barrage, which is now empowered to do more damage overall, focuses on a priority target as opposed to the furthest target most of the time. This targeting change isn't going to do anything in a fight like Kawakaz meta, but it probably has more implications for PvP, with which I don't concern myself. Now, seeing all these damage buffs on paper doesn't really give a good intuitive feeling of how much stronger she got, so let's take a look at how she performs in Kawakaz meta instead. Using a mostly British fleet, Warspite recorded almost 500,000 with her new upgrade, as well as all the buffs from the other ships in the fleet, of course. Now, this is a very solid number, but we don't actually know how strong she is until we put similar ships in the same environment. While her damage received a pretty significant upgrade, she still a pure stat stick that offers nothing else for the other ships in the fleet, so the closest comparisons are probably going to be the likes of New Jersey and FDG, as most of the other URs offer quite a lot of buffs and utility aside from just their damage. Looking at the result, the same fleet took out the boss with New Jersey about just as easily. New Jersey herself does offer 5% armor break from her barrage, as well as damage reduction for USS Vanguards, which obviously helps when your tank is Eldridge. Additionally, while most of the buffs in the fleet don't really affect HMS specifically despite the high number of HMS buffers, Trafalgar does offer 10% firepower buff for Warspite that New Jersey does not receive, so the damage is definitely closer than what is being shown here, although Warspite almost certainly did deal slightly more damage than New Jersey even without that extra bit of firepower. Anyway, don't lose sight of the fact that this is a sample size of just one, so I wouldn't conclude that Warspite does more damage against light armor than New Jersey just yet, but they're definitely in the same ballpark now damage-wise, whereas before she was more so competing with purple battleships and battlecruisers. Also, something to keep in mind is the fact that Warspite's barrage has a 65% modifier against light armor and 135% modifier against medium, so she would almost certainly deal quite a bit more damage against medium than New Jersey, and likely heavy armor as well. Still, the difference in overall output won't be that different with New Jersey's armor break. Now, I tried putting FDG through the same test, but her alternating reload buff didn't cooperate with the timing, so it didn't work out. Add to the fact that Kawakaz never damages the main fleet, so FDG never procs her retaliation barrage, makes it not really fair to FDG. FDG is still better in campaign as well, where Warspite is about as useless as she has always been. One final comparison I wanted to make was with Dyson, once again in the exact same fleet. You might have noticed that I'm trying out Eldritch as tank in these runs, and the run that I swapped to Dyson was the run I realized Eldritch is not consistent as the tank. Not only does Dyson never heal your fleet, even though it's ostensibly a part of her kit, but she actually curses them to die even faster. Anyway, after a couple more tries, the Vanguard managed to survive till the end, and Dyson pulled similar numbers to New Jersey, so not too shabby for an SSR. Due to her barrage modifiers though, she is a bit of a light armor specialist, so this is about as strong as she's going to get. However, if she's pulling 435k damage while Warspite is pulling 495k with the 10% extra firepower from Trafalgar, we might see Dyson actually getting ahead of some of the URs against light armor, depending on the direction they decide to go for her upcoming Fate simulation. Okay, all in all, Warspite is UR level now in terms of damage output, so I will be adding her into the S- rank in my tier list. I put her right in front of New Jersey just for now, but they are extremely similar both in terms of performance and use cases. The two in front of them still have some niches for campaign, but they're definitely not better than Warspite or New Jersey in a single target context. In this batch of augments, there actually happens to be another pretty interesting one, which is for Peter Strasser. She now roots all enemies on screen for 3 seconds when launching an airstrike. Now, while 3 seconds is a little short, when you put it into context with how you would actually use her, which is to help your other KMS carriers squeeze in an extra airstrike at the end of a fight, and in particular, you would probably be using her with the new UR Fritz Rume. Since Rume herself also brings a slow, the combination of the two would likely result in good enough movement impairment to ensure all your attacks land. And if you're going with that type of fleet anyway, then Bismarck's Way is also a no-brainer. In my opinion, her cooldown reduction for Ironblood carriers, and specifically Fritz Rume, will probably make her more valuable in Ironblood compositions by potentially enabling 4 airstrikes while using the slow LA9 rocket fighters. As such, I added her to my tier list in front of AVP for now, as she essentially has all of the same strengths as AVP, but also offers the cooldown reduction on top. Something that might go unnoticed as well is that she not only has 20 more reload than AVP from her base stats, but now also gains an extra 20 from her augment as well, making it much more convenient to adjust her cooldown. I'll have to use her a bit before I'm fully certain this is the right place to put her, but she'll at least be on the tier list. Don't be expecting to see a showcase with her for the current meta fight though, as her loadout and barrage modifiers are weak against light armor, but then again it could be possible for Bismarck and Rume to carry the damage enough. We'll have to see. Also, in case you missed it, I did add Centaur to the A tier and the carrier tier list as well, because of how easy it is to fulfill her HMS ship requirement now with Lion and Trafalgar, and also having enough reload to get off more airstrikes than other carriers, using a 2 LA9 loadout while buffing your other main fleet ships as well. She's definitely a medium armor specialist though, because that's what LA9s are good for. Alright, that's it for this update. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.